There is somebody on this plane with a severe nut allergy.
Oh, it's the pilot.
So we're not going to be... We're not going to... Oh, you wouldn't mess around there, would you?
all is that the star bar. We want all women in this show. What are we going to do? Misery. You can't ever be happy. Come on, mate. It's the gender wars.
And we're going to put you in the jungle. We're going to make you hot and sweaty as well. But not in a good way.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what AI is, to be honest.
No. I think generally it's going to make life easier for a lot of us. And I think when we're dead and gone, it'll be a shitstorm. So good luck, kids.
It's time to adjust those shoulder pads, backcomb what's left of your hair, and jump into the DeLorean for a look back at what's possibly the best decade anyone could ever have grown up in.
Shall we play a game?
This is Bring Back the 80s with your hosts James Alderson and me, Andy Jackson. Here we go. Welcome along to another edition of the Bring Back the 80s podcast.
Another one.
Series 3, James.
Oh, no. Yeah, 3. Series 3.
I know.
Some people didn't want us to do one series, and I've just realised I've got some chocolate on my face. Just looking at the recording there. But that's very apt. But yes, some people said don't do it, and we persevered stubbornly.
We proved them wrong.
Oh.
We proved them wrong.
All the critics.
Yeah.
Have there been?
Well, there's been one or two, but 600,000 people have watched the little clip or so on YouTube. So we say thank you very much indeed.
Crikey.
Can we just ask as well, by the way, if you just discovered this, and I know a lot of people are new to the podcast and new to the new season, if you like this one, just share it with one other person.
Yeah.
And that'd be absolutely lovely.
And go and hunt for the old ones. We've been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah.
So there's probably, if you don't enjoy this, go back through the other ones. You might find one you like.
We've done all kinds of things, haven't we? We've done films, we've done TV adverts, we've done toys,
days out,
games out, school days. Yeah. But today, the start of a brand new season, we thought as we're heading into the time where you comfort eat, it's all about the chocolate, isn't it, James?
I mean, I'm going against the grain a little bit, but the viewers have demanded it. And I don't really, you know what I'm like. Celery, broccoli, avocado smashed onto something or other.
Your body is a temple, isn't it?
Gosh. So it's, but I thought, you know what? Okay, we'll do it. We'll do some chocolate stuff, and let's see once and for all whether chocolate's changed, and whether some stuff has died and gone to chocolate heaven, and some stuff is still dragging its heels into the millennia.
The thing is, it's almost like re-meeting, they say never meet your heroes. These are our childhood heroes. Yeah. And will they be as good as we remember them from back in the 80s?
I think sometimes I would love if the Cadburys and Galaxies and the Nestles of this world would actually recreate as they were when we were kids. You know, I'll pay $5, but give me a Mars bar that was what it was like when we were kids. Give me a Dairy Milk bar as it was, because they change it so subtly over the years that we probably don't even remember what it actually tasted like when we were kids.
I remember when Cadbury's were taken over by the Americans, and they promised us that nothing would change. They said, "Well, your recipe will never change.
No,
it is a British icon." And slowly but surely, they've put the sick in.
It tastes so sick. They've decided, you know what? You don't need to have dairy milk, do you? Can we just put in some sedative? I don't know what they put in it, but you eat it and go, "Oh, that's Cadbury." It really isn't. It's so sweet and goo. Oh, you can get away with it for a couple of nibbles. That's my motto, and that's all. And then after that, you go, no, sorry, can't. This isn't Cadbury.
And there were iconic ones from back in the day. Obviously, Cadbury's the one right at the top of the list that we think of. But there were other brands as well. I just want to start the first one. We're going to revisit this. It did appear in one of our early episodes, but I think it's an iconic one of its time. Yeah. So here is our first chocolate bar.
Susie's going to sing about a different kind of chocolatey biscuit.
Trio!
Too loud.
Trio!
I said that was too loud.
I want a trio and I want one now.
Yeah, well, we all do, man, but listen.
Not one, not two, but three things in it.
I said
a chocolatey biscuit and a toffee taste too.
Listen, could you just cool
and
it?
Not one, not two.
No three things are quite as good together as a trio.
Yeah, I mean, we annoyed many a teacher singing that.
Back of the class.
Oh, God.
It was just one of those things. It was like, because everybody watched TV at the same time, nothing was on demand. So if that advert had been played for the first time during Corrie, everybody would have watched it everybody would have heard it.
Yeah.
And the next day at school, the teachers' lives, just a misery.
Yeah, and jingles and adverts that were so memorable were huge. So that, you know, they had the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as well. That was the little snack wafer bar, and it was just that was huge. That and then being a cartoon as well, kids were just enthralled. And I happen to have here, you're not going to find this hard to believe, I happen to have here an original trio wrapper.
James, you shock me.
I know. I don't know when it went out of date. It's not got the chocolate in it, but it's I think about it. It's got something on the inside.
Give it a lick. Give it a lick.
No, you're all right. And it's made in Reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as they all are now, of course. How do you make antifreeze? Send it to the North Pole. Brilliant. So, but this has got colouring in, jokes on the inside, and the Jacob's Bakery Limited trio. So have a little look at that. Don't unpeel it.
I'm not going to unpeel it because I know it's probably worth more than my car is worth. I think so.
To me.
So just have a look and see what's in the flavouring here. Milk chocolate, half ingredients, milk chocolate, flour, sugar, vegetable fat, including hydrogenated vegetable oil, the good stuff.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
Glucose syrup, emulsifier, lecithin, blah, 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 blah. Colour.
Yeah.
And annatto colour.
Oh.
What the hell is annatto colour?
It's a small amount of colour, I think.
But these, now I know they had like the silver thing in the middle as well.
Yeah, a little foil wrap thing,
Didn't they? Smaller than I remember them, but maybe in those days I just had small hands.
You did, and also there was quite a bit of foil either side on those. They didn't stop flush at the end. They did have a good, I would say, centimetre-ish each end of the gold foil wrapped bar, and more of a biscuit, really, in your packed lunch. They were, weren't they? Yeah. It wasn't really something you go to the newsagent and buy a trio, but your mum might slip one in your Tupperware.
It was things, isn't it strange that this would have been one of the things that you would never have bought, but your mum would have bought?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking like the blue ribboned things that you get as well. You would never go into the shop and say, "Oh, can I have a blue ribbon, please?" No. But when it turns up in your lunchbox, you would be more than happy
wafer.
with that. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So classic advert. Probably one of the biggest adverts, I would say, for kids when it comes to your packed lunches.
And we all remember it, and we all sing along to the jingle as well, as you say.
Yeah,
it's very very the whole production on it as well. It was all those, the cartoon would have been done frame by frame.
Oh,
with a real artist. No such thing as computers.
And I wonder where she is now, that singer.
She did. Here's a little factoid for you. She was also the voice of Oh Body Form.
Was she?
She was, yes.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. Did she also do Danon?
She was definitely the voice. I'm not sure about that, but she was definitely the voice of Oh Body Form.
Oh, yeah. Body Form. You.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't me. It was her, definitely. Just in case anyone's thinking, well, she's in the studio. I never. There's no bongos in Body Form. Well, there was, but...
So we had the classic adverts, the classic chocolate bars as well. More to come, by the way.
Yeah.
But classic TV as well. We've got a mystery sound, right? And I thought for this season, rather than do sounds, because we've done as many dot matrix printers as we could find.
Oh, yes.
We've done as many fax machines as we could find.
Yes.
Everybody now knows the sound of the dial telephone to be replaced by the trim phone. So I thought we'd go with TV themes.
Okay.
A lot of them from TV shows that we loved at the time but might have forgotten about now.
Yeah.
And this is going to test your knowledge on this one, James. I will be, if you get this, I was going to say I'll be surprised. I won't be that surprised. Here's how it works. We're going to play this for you. If you know what it is, let us know in the comments on YouTube. We will do a draw out of all the right ones to win a wonderful Bring Back the 80s t-shirt. I'm looking over there because it's on the wall out
It's
of
not
shot.
there. We've got the Goonies and we've got ET VHS tapes there now. We'll bring it down for the next episode.
Or you could win tickets to one of James's myriad comedy shows right across the South.
It's too many.
Or perhaps even, if you fancy it, the live Christmas edition of the Bring Back the 80s podcast.
What?
At the Spring Arts Centre in Havant.
Live?
On the 5th. Is it the 5th of December?
I think it is.
5th or Thursday.
It's a Wednesday or
anyway,
Thursday.
It's
something
a Thursday.
Like that. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and we've already sold more than half the tickets. More than half the tickets are gone.
I just got to clarify that we'll be there. So if you're buying it hoping that you're just going to watch it on a big screen, you're going to be disappointed. We're going to actually be there, sat there. It's not like a Max Headroom thing. Real people, and if our backs don't go in the process, the set will be there, and we'll be having a right Christmas knees up, having a good old trip down Christmas memory lane. I think we can say that Christmas jumpers and hats will be appreciated, but are not mandatory. Well, I don't know. Bring some tinsel and some baubles.
But if you fancy going along to that, tell us this forgotten 80s TV show, if you will.
It's the mystery sound of the 80s. It's the mystery sound of the 80s.
There was a little clue at the end of that.
Maracas.
Yes.
Was it the first soft porn they played on Channel 4?
With the little triangle that came up in the corner to say, pornography alert here, please tune in.
At 11:15 at night when your mum and dad were like, why are you still up? Nothing, mum, doing homework in the lounge. Shush, go to sleep. Why's it gone quiet? Nothing
at all. Why's the pause button broken now? But that was do you actually know what it is? You got a clue?
No.
I
don't think I have.
Right.
I don't think so.
It's one of those ones that you will remember. You will look back. I'm going to say possibly look back fondly on. I think perhaps the content might not have stood the test of time, but all will be revealed in 2 episodes' time.
Yeah, I think I'll have a little ponder. Was it for adults?
It was for adults.
Yeah,
yes.
you see, this is it. This is one of those things that I would have laid in bed and listening to it being playing, probably
from the telly downstairs.
From the telly, in the lounge. And Cell Block H was always a big one for me. I'd listen, and it was such a sad theme tune, all about beefy lesbians in prisons. and I remember listening because my mum was on her own and brought me up on my own, and I remember laying there in the bed at about 7 years old listening to that theme tune thinking, oh, this is sad. Not knowing what it was. And then as I got older I thought, well, this isn't sad at all. It's women beating the shit out of each other in dungarees.
It was the time, wasn't it? They did have a lot of depressing things, or didn't they, back in those days? They do you remember Tenko? Was it like Japanese prisoner of war camp?
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought? How would you pitch that now?
Well, did they have any all-female cast doing anything uplifting and happy?
I don't think they did,
no.
do they?
We want all women in this show. What are we going to do? Misery. It can't ever be happy. Come on, mate. It's a gender wars.
And we're going to put you in the jungle. We're going to make you hot and sweaty as well, but not in a good way.
We're still talking about it's a Channel 4 late night film again.
Just a reminder, if you know what that TV programme was, though, do let us know in the comments on YouTube. We're going to say this time around. They're about there. It might be there, might be there, might be there. We're not going to let you know if you're right, obviously, now.
No.
You're welcome if somebody puts something down. You're welcome to copy them if you like.
Yeah.
But what if it's like that kid that everybody copied their homework from in school, and he deliberately misled you so that you got it wrong?
Oh, yeah. Like AI now.
Oh,
deliberately
my God.
mislead you. No, I don't. Where everyone gets the same essay.
That's what I can't understand with AI, is there are now AI detectors to detect AI, but how does the AI know that it's written with AI? How does it work? How is it can be that clever?
Maybe they've got an AI to check the AI detector that's checking the. Yeah, I don't know.
Are you scared of AI?
AI. I don't know. I think that's the answer from anybody who remembers the 80s. Are you scared? I always remember, everyone was complaining that kids are on their phones all the time and they don't do anything. And I read Samuel Pepys's diaries, and in one of his excerpts, when the printing press became such commonplace and books became readily available, he wrote a bit about how boys now just gather in the street around a book
Can you imagine?
And don't play anymore, right? And that was a real comment on social society. And there's always going to be something. So I think that they'll be like, oh God, AI is taking over the world, and a lot of people are thinking, thank Christ for that, because I really can't be arsed.
Because in our time, the 80s, it was the big evil thing was telly, wasn't it?
Of course.
Telly was the evil monster that was going to rot our brains, make our eyes go square, and generally ruin everything. But because then the internet came along and phones and everything, and we got scared of that for a while. But now AI, nobody really knows what AI is, to be honest.
No, I think generally it's going to make life easier for a lot of us. But I think when we're dead and gone, it'll be a shitstorm. So good luck, kids.
The thing is, the AI trains itself on everything that's on the internet. So it's like it just scrapes all the websites in the world and does that. But if all those websites are now being written by itself, it's going to go just round and round in a circle.
It'll go down a rabbit hole. I think a bit like your nan, who turns up and says the Earth's flat. and AI will be like, you know what? There's aliens in Wickham. They're like, what? It's just learning the bullshit from the internet, and there'll be nothing sensible coming out of it. So we'll have to resort to being independent from AI, I think.
Go back to books.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger will turn up in the middle of it all and try and fix it.
It's a funny thing,
Maybe.
isn't it? How things move on. Because you remember when we wanted to know something, if we were back in the 80s, if you didn't know the answer to something, you would have to look in the encyclopedia.
Of course, yeah.
And did you have a full set of encyclopedias?
Not full. We could afford up to F. And I had to do a geography essay on Namibia once, and I couldn't because we had. Or you ask your dad, and anything he said was it, and he wrote that down.
Yes.
So we didn't have the money really to afford the full set. They were big bucks, weren't they?
They were big.
Britannica.
Yeah, it depends on whether because we had it was the Encyclopedia Britannica was the one that everybody had.
Yeah.
We didn't have the Encyclopedia Britannica, and to be honest, nobody I knew had that. But we had some kind of weird Reader's Digest knockoff kind of thing. But if you think now that it would have fitted on a big bookshelf.
Oh yeah.
But that was the entire history of the world's knowledge. Supposedly,
you didn't need to know anything else.
In that was all that, and you go and look up something and say, well, in 1959, this was what people were saying.
Yes.
But now everything's at our fingertips. But is it better now, James?
I don't know. I think it's probably quite handy if you're forgetful like I am. You go, what was the name? I would sit for an hour when we were kids going, what was the name of that guy in that film? And you would have to have the telly on because six of you in the lounge would be like, I don't know who it was. Was it John Craven? No, he does news round. Oh yeah, no, that's not John Craven. Who is it then? And now you can just Google it and within 3 seconds conversation's over. You're like, found the answer, good. Right, back to telly then. Right, we'll just watch telly in silence, shall we?
Pub quizzes would have been a little bit more fair though back in those days, wouldn't they? Because there was no looking answers up.
But at the end where you argue about the answer, you can Google it now and go, I was right. Yeah. But back then it was like, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
See you next week, guys. I remember having a picture dictionary. And I still got it in a box in the garage. You'll find it hard to believe. And every word had a picture. Not every. And as a result, there's not every word in the dictionary because you can't have a picture for and. But it's like you go through it and think, well, this has only got 40 words in it because every word has got a big picture of a snake, grass, tree. But yeah, it's simple times when you had the old little Collins dictionary for your school. The little tiny ones,
like a little sort of leatherette bound thing.
Well, I had a Midland Saver one.
Did you?
It came when you opened the bank account, of course, with the book and the folder and the calculator and the card and the checkbook and pen. And so you got this little dictionary thing, and that was always handy. But again, only had about 1,000 words in it because it was only a tiny little dictionary, so bloody pointless, really.
I've always found it very difficult to use dictionaries as well. I know this might surprise people that I had difficulty grasping the English language. Yeah. But when you
mastered it now.
When you read something, some would say you're not
You're
quite
doing pretty
sure.
well.
But when you try to look up something, I always wanted to say to the dictionary, now use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
Because they would define it, and it would still make no sense to me whatsoever. So I just want somebody to say, use that in a sentence for me, and then I will understand what it means.
I think you found a use for AI. I think you may have just sorted it for yourself. Andy, you found your place.
Shall we go for another TV commercial?
Can we?
From an iconic chocolate bar of the 80s.
Go on then.
Here we go.
If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
Jacob's Club. What a lot of chocolate for your money.
If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
I wonder how much Kenny Everett was paid to say Jacob's Club, what a lot of chocolate on your biscuit.
Was that who it was?
Kenny Everett,
wow.
bless him.
Yeah. And I mean, again, another classic, Bicky. It was... I mean, I quite like them. I think I've got a wrap. I've definitely got a wrap here.
You surprised me.
Well, I've got a
James.
mint one in here as well, so I'm going to have a look at it. You take that one out of there.
Okay, am I allowed to actually take it out of its
that bit.
thing? This is like a museum artifact, isn't it?
It is, and I have got a different one in here, so I'm going to look because that intrigued me, that little advert, because it had. I remember them with the pictures of. The the fruit, not the fruit. Well, it was fruit.
It was a fruit,
orange
wasn't
then. But I also no.
This one's got an actual
club card. And I
up on
think
it.
they did.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the earlier versions. It's going to annoy me now because I can't find the one with the mint on. It was a mint one I had.
This is made in Reading as well.
Was it? Yeah,
Road in
Jacobs.
Reading. Yeah,
Jacobs.
Nabisco Group. This one.
Oh, well, maybe it's made in the same.
It's got the same
factory.
hydrogenated vegetable oil in it as well. So that's probably the way forward. But yes, again, quite the same size as the Trio. Really, if we compare and contrast. In fact, who'd have thought they came out of the same factory?
I would imagine they did.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's and we all fell for it. Virtually the same bloody biscuit, wasn't it? Really, chocolate bar thing.
I will say though, this is one of the ones that did live up to its TV hype, and there was more chocolate on the club than any other biscuit you could get. You bit into it, you would leave your teeth marks in the chocolate. Which is which is what you want, isn't it?
To be honest, it is still very similar now. I can't bloody find it. It's really annoying me.
James.
It's yeah. I'm going to leave it. Bollocks. So yeah, it was. And still is lovely. It still is lovely. Still very, very similar, actually. I have a club biscuit quite regularly, and they still have, but they don't have it. It's not two. I don't think it's two wrappers. It's not like the foil wrapped with paper. The paper has the foil as part of it at the end to open it all together. But it's still quite a nice, nod to the previous sort of foil wraps, because a lot of these chocolate bars aren't wrapped the way they used to be wrapped.
I think that was half the fun as well. I know they make a big deal, like every time a new iPhone comes out, they do all the unboxing videos, and it's all about taking things out of the box and everything. I think it makes a real difference as to how your chocolate bar is presented to you, and I think you need the proper foil on the inside.
Well, I was gutted when Flake stopped the twizzly ends. Yeah. Because there's something about that. It's not like a bonbon, I suppose, or a cracker, but it was just nice to untwist it, and then it was all just there, but it wasn't hermetically sealed, so it's not allowed.
No, because somebody would come in and put nails in it or something.
Oh, I don't know what they do. Lick it.
There was a time, wasn't there? There was a time when somebody would go round and do that.
Happened once, so that's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
Ruin everyone's fun then. Sorry, guys. Someone's licked a flake in Nottingham, so you can't have that anymore in Portsmouth. I'm sorry. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, things like the fudge, they've always had sealed ends, and even a crunchy, I think.
Yeah, crunchy was always a one sealed unit.
Yeah, but isn't it weird that the crumbliest bastard chocolate bar ever wasn't sealed in at all? Just like, let's loosely tie it together at the ends. If chocolate falls off, doesn't matter. But the stuff that's solid and never going anywhere, seal it in, please.
Isn't it weird as well that Flake is obviously exactly the same chocolate as was in Cadbury's Dairy Milk and whatever, but somehow it tasted a million times better.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something to do with the air chocolate combo, because it's got air in it, and air in it when you chew it, it makes the taste so much nicer. I'm not an expert, but I'm just it is something about that, like that truffle sort of texture, isn't it? It always tastes better when you eat the chocolate truffles,
it was
because
just the texture and everything, wasn't it? Or mouthfeel, I believe, is the way they call it these days.
I'm getting very excited.
So speaking of getting excited, just bear with me while we're talking about Flake here.
James's special lunchbox surprise.
Right after the lunchbox surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is because I knew we'd be bombarded with chocolate. I thought I'd have this as a bit of a palate cleanser.
Okay.
So have a little look in here. It's obviously still edible because it's a lunchbox, But this is something that I remember as a kid, and Fox's Glacier Mints. But these were the fruits, and they came in a bit later. They were still 80s, but Fox's Glacier Mints was something that your nan had.
Yeah, and nobody liked a Fox's Glacier Mints.
I love the adverts.
Yeah,
with the fox and the polar bear and the
brilliant stuff.
And these were sort of an alternative to the Werthers, I suppose.
I don't know if you can see that. Brightly coloured.
Oh yeah.
With the thing. Are these current ones or are these old ones?
The current ones.
Oh, they are current ones. Okay.
Yeah. So
am I allowed to open?
Yeah, open it and have it. And I think they're very, very similar still. And I think the reason is I'm guessing that they're not really that. I don't know. I mean, the ingredients change that much. They probably haven't got any sugar in anymore. But I thought, well, let's just see what they're like. I haven't had one probably since.
Just at random.
Well, they've got solid wrappers. I'm sure they were clear. Oh, and they are smaller.
They've actually got Twizzly though. Look
Twizzly ends. We were just talking about Twizzly ends.
Proper Twizzly.
Are they the same size?
They're smaller.
I think they are definitely smaller. I'm not going to be able to have a whole one because we've got chocolate coming up. But I remember...
That's good.
Yeah, they haven't got any sharp edges. I seem to remember the odd sharp edge on a Fox's.
I had a flat bottom, I seem to remember. As well.
Oh, I know how they feel.
Flat bottom.
It's this age. But no, they used to... But also, where the mould came off, sometimes they'd have a little sharp seam around it at the bottom. Sometimes you get and cut your tongue and the roof of your mouth.
Now, the question is, though, are these going to be crunchable, or are we going to be just sucking on these?
I'm going to put it back in the wrapper, to be honest. I think that tastes the same. I think it's slightly smaller.
I've got to say, the taste, they've absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The Fox's Glacier, for some reason, your nan had them by the bloody bucket load, and she'd always hand them around, or in a car trip.
Well, they were always sucking on them, weren't they? Everybody's nan was always sucking on Fox's Glacier.
Yeah, or a Werther's,
pure sugar, which is why everybody ended up having false teeth.
Of course, yeah, of course. And I'm sure they were, you could get them in the traditional sweet shops as well, in the jars. They'd have the Glacier mints and the fruits.
No child would ever say they're a quarter of Fox's Glacier mints.
No, bonbons for me every time, and some UFO spaceship thingamajiggers, a sherbet. Spaceship
sherbet with the thing where you would go through the rice paper and it would just explode in your mouth.
Lovely jubbly. Yeah, we might do something. We might have some treats at the live show.
Oh, that would be good.
Might be doing something.
You know what we'll have to do though? If we're going to have treats. Are you talking about treats for us or treats for everybody coming along?
Everybody's
going to have to sign an allergy disclaimer. As we come in.
Well, I might make them vegan and nut-free and lactose intolerant. No, you can't.
You can't do that.
Make them lactose. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have a sign up.
Beware.
Eat these at your peril.
That's the funny thing, though, isn't it? Nobody was allergic to anything.
Well, they were, but they died instantly.
They just died,
so we never knew what was wrong. They just dropped dead. So we're like, oh, that's weird, isn't it? What was wrong with him? Don't know. And these days, it's like, Christ, what's happened? Find out. And then they go, oh, God, he was allergic to peanuts all this time. Who knew?
It's weird, though, because I was during our summer break, I came back on the plane from Italy, and there was an announcement, a pre-recorded announcement, saying there is somebody on this plane with a severe nut allergy.
Oh, it's the pilot.
So we're not going to be. We're not going to. Oh, you wouldn't mess around there, would you? Actually,
can you imagine?
It was a
all he's had is a star bar, double decker.
Because there's always one, isn't there, that says, "Oh, I don't care. I'm going to eat these nuts anyway." But if you say it's the pilot, go pilot, both got a severe nut allergy.
No peanuts. Oh, God, I had a peanut 3 days ago. We're all going to die. Dear, don't breathe.
That's the way to do it, isn't it, though? That's the way to do it.
So that's a pilot allergy. Don't open a bag of peanuts.
Anyway,
have a short break.
But it's funny, nobody was, like you say, there was no such thing as allergies, and people were just randomly drop dead.
Yeah.
They were just, like
nobody looked into it, did they?
That was just one of those things.
Or you had the shits and you didn't know you were lactose intolerant for 17 years. You know, all you had was a kid that was constantly shitting their pants in French lesson. And it's because they had forced half a pint of milk in the morning break.
Yeah.
And they didn't know why they had gut ache all the time. And no one thought that maybe we could milk a soya bean and that would replace all their milk needs. So yeah, we didn't, the 80s, they didn't really, I mean, 70s, 60s, 50s, go back as far as you want, but the 80s, they definitely didn't care why a kid was moaning about why they had tummy ache or why they felt a bit fuzzy or swollen tongued, or it was just like he's been stung by a bee. I don't know what it was. Someone had a peanut.
With gluten fine as well, didn't we? There was no gluten free anything.
Well, you had a shit and gone with it.
Yeah.
You just like, oh, that's that done. But no, I mean, obviously not. I'm not underplaying it at all. I think we're all very, very delicate now, and we're you can say I'm not coming into work because I've bloated or something. I think probably I work for myself, so I don't know. But if you phone up on a Monday morning and say I've got the shits, I had a bowl of cereal yesterday, then the boss will be like, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Well, because if you need the perfect, you can't come to work today with no arguments whatsoever. So I need a mental health day.
Oh, well,
always on a Monday morning.
Every fucking day for me. I don't ever go in then. Christ almighty. Yeah, but that's again, that's where the old phones and staying on the old line and internet and AI and all that shizzle, that's messes with your brain, doesn't it? But what we need to get through it all is a daily dose of chocolate.
Absolutely. You were talking about the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate of them all before. let me just remind you, perhaps one of the reasons why we all liked it so much as well.
Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate tastes like chocolate never tasted before. Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate tastes like chocolate never tasted before.
Cadbury's Flake, the crumbliest, flakiest milk chocolate in the world.
She's been kidnapped.
I think David Essex could be living in that caravan, perhaps.
Could be, maybe.
She just sat down to eat her flake. How, as a schoolboy watching that, though, you knew that it was triggering something, but you weren't quite sure what was being triggered.
Oh, I definitely knew. But it's the only advert I just sat down to watch. My dad was like, "What car do you want, son?" "I don't want a car, Dad. I want a horse and cart." Pulls all the chicks, load it up with Cadbury flakes. No, I mean, goodness sake. The thing is, obviously, at end of the 80s, you had Diet Coke break, early 90s maybe, but you couldn't have had a bloke doing that.
No.
I mean, you could now,
yes.
obviously, probably. But it's, I've got the flake wrapper, obviously, as you can imagine. How much for this was this?
9p.
Are you fucking cheating?
Was it 9p?
9p. 9p.
You're
there
joking
you go.
me. How about that?
And the twisty ends, of course. Now, the only thing is,
you've ironed this, haven't you, James?
Well, no, it's been flat packed, obviously. I've got to protect it. I'm not going to risk it under an iron, you crazy man. But I've got to be honest with you, it's about the same size, look.
Decent size, yeah.
Now, the thing that chocolate manufacturers piss about with now is they have about 3 different sizes. And I've had a chat with Cadbury's about this. And, it's pretty even
good,
Stevens.
yeah.
And this is chunky. But if you go and buy a multi-pack or go and buy one in a little newsagent, the different sizes. This was from Sainsbury's, which is a classic full size, 32 grams, right? But if you get a multi-pack, they're about half that size. And I said to Cadbury, what are you pissing about for? Just do if you're going to charge me £2 for a multi-pack, or £3, fine, but don't start giving me a little finger of flake. Give me a proper size. And they went, no, we do it for the shelf sizes in the different... It's like, that must cost them a fortune to have different moulds and different packaging and different boxes and different vans. Just do the same one for everybody. Do you want a taste of it?
I think I would love a taste of that to see if it's the same.
Can you eat it like that lady?
I don't want to haunt everybody watching.
If you just hop onto my lap.
It's so crumbly.
Yeah.
So crumbly.
But it is... I think it possibly is bigger. Do you think it's a bit bigger? I don't remember having the girth.
It's got the girth, it's got the length.
And it melts in your mouth.
It's got the mouth feel. That's good. Just go with that, James.
I honestly think that it's bigger. And I don't know why they would do that, but I don't remember it having... It's bigger than an adult finger.
And it does taste different. If you'd have given me a bit of dairy milk, totally different taste. There was something different. Something different about it.
It's so similar to...
It's pretty close to how it used to be.
It's not quite as flaky, I don't think. And then if it's thinner, it's going to be falling apart more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they did it, but I actually think, weirdly, that is bigger than an original flake.
Could be.
Certainly in as I say, girth. But yeah, cracking advert. Great advert. I mean, it's just, who were they appealing to? Because maybe it was teenage boys. Because the girls, I mean, it's a nice, seductive... romantic setting, I suppose, that. But they were always girls doing something.
Yeah, that kind of thing, though, that if that had continued, that would have been a late night Channel 4 with the triangle in the corner.
Yeah, well, Mary Whitehouse would have had a meltdown.
She
probably did. But there was no male equivalent, was there?
No.
There's no man licking an ice cream clam. On the back of a caravan.
No.
On a summer's day.
No.
Could have been.
No.
Maybe there is. Walls. Well, check the Walls adverts
we'll
on
have a
TV.
look.
There'll be a bloke with his
one,
top
yeah.
off. Anyway, but yeah, it's all very sexist.
Yeah.
But that was the 80s.
You were saying as well about why do they do them in in the double packs where they've got two smaller ones in one pack. Do you know? But I actually think I know the reason for that is.
Oh, go on.
It's to do with health and us eating less. And when you buy one of those duo packs, you're only supposed to eat one bit,
right?
And you're supposed to save the other bit for later.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, you're supposed to. Yeah,
I do. I have it one after the other. One is later than the other, definitely.
I think that's the thinking behind it, because there's the same amount of chocolate. They can charge a little bit more because they're telling you there's two.
Yeah,
but you're only supposed to eat half of it. You're not supposed to eat.
I had a funny little experience. I went to do a corporate gig in Switzerland. Thank you for Nestle. This was about 7-8 years ago. And I knew that the group director was going to be there for Kit Kat, right? So we were right on the Lake Geneva there, and also it was lovely. And all the Nestle staff were there, and I had my wife make a 4-finger Kit Kat chunky. She ironed it together. She put some foil around it, and just as part of my set up and joking about Nestle, I brought it out. Their minds were blown. They thought it was amazing. And the next morning for breakfast, I went to the global director of Kit Kat's flat. I hadn't stayed the night, and we were sat there having breakfast looking over Lake Geneva, very glamorous and lovely, and I felt well out of my depth. And he said he loved the idea, but they would never get it through portion control. They'd never be allowed to do a 4-finger Kit Kat chunky. Obviously the 4-finger Kit Kat, everybody knows. Even a 5-finger they brought out in the 80s as a limited edition thing. Yes, very exciting extra finger.
But it was always difficult to eat with someone because there was always one finger left, wasn't there? So you couldn't share it equally. No. And you got into you'd have to break it into half.
Yeah, 4 fingers is enough.
4 fingers plenty.
Yeah. That's what they all say. As you get older, maybe 5. But yes, I had the 4-finger. I had the 4-finger Kit Kat chunky, and it did look absolutely brilliant. And I think it would go down a storm in the shop, especially at Christmas when you get those extra big tubes.
You get the big Toblerones out, don't you?
Get a bloody 4-finger Kit Kat chunky down here.
To them again, James. The time is right now.
I think it's right. It's been recorded, so it's copyright. Nobody can nick it.
We'll tag them into this.
Yeah.
Tag you're tagged in there, Mr. Kit Kat.
Yeah.
And what royalties are you after?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they could buy the rest of the tickets to the live show.
Sell it out for us.
That'll be fine.
There you go. And on that happy note, James, end of the first edition of season 3 of the Bring Back the 80s podcast.
Yeah.
As we always say, if you've enjoyed it, let somebody else know.
Yep.
You can follow us on all the socials and everything. If you know what our mystery sound was, we'll remind you again what it is next week in a week's time.
I don't know.
But if you know what it is, let us know in the comments, and we do the draw for the comedy tickets.
Yeah.
Or the Bring Back the 80s t-shirt.
Have one if you want. Yeah.
Until next time, James, we will say we'll see you next Tuesday.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition. We'd love it if you could subscribe in your favourite podcast app, and don't forget there's a video version on YouTube too. You can contact us using the links in the show notes and on the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time for another edition of Bring Back the 80s.